Maybe I'll put it on there. I'm kidding. What'd you?
I thought you were gonna actually jump over.
Hop.
Oh, no. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. Are we ready? Hi, everybody. Is that what you say?
Hey everybody, this is.
Okay.
Or you can say hi. It doesn't have to be hey.
Okay.
They're,
Are we ready?
they're sort of the same. I'm ready if you're ready.
Okay. I gotta make sure I clap hard enough. Hi, everybody. This is Travis Jansen from Thrive Fitness, and we're here today with Jerry, and we're gonna reverse the roles here. I'm so excited. This is episode 23
Yeah.
of Thrive TV.
We rehearsed that.
So today I get to ask the questions of Jerry. So you ready?
Little Q&A today.
You ready?
I am ready.
Okay, what I did this past week was I asked around all my friends and clients and to come up with some questions for Jerry on exercising, working out, anything in general. So we will go over these. So from our first question is from a client named Jerry, who I happen to be married to. And he asks...
He's a Thrive Fitness client.
Right. He asks, an inactive person comes to you seeking advice on how to get started. What would you say and why? And I want you to address these three things. 3 pieces of exercise equipment to use at home. 1 thing to eliminate from your diet. Okay, and...
That should be your question.
Oh no, we're going to find out what you think. And what exercises to start out with.
Okay. All right. So they're not coming to me to train here. They're coming to me to know what they can do at home.
Right.
Yes?
Or to get a workout program, from you.
All right. So they need 3 pieces of equipment that they can use at home.
Right.
A kettlebell, a band, and an adjustable... that's not going to do any good because we don't have any dumbbells.
Oh, by the way, he didn't know these questions ahead of time.
No, I didn't. A kettlebell, a band, and I don't really know that you really need a third, but if you were going to pick another one, it would be a bench. And here's what you would do. So with a kettlebell, basically what you can do is everything. Outside of like bench press and things like that, which obviously we're gonna utilize the bench in some way, and I'll get to that in a second. What was it? So what were the 3 things, the 3 pieces of equipment? What was the second thing I was supposed to focus on?
What's the one thing?
One thing you take out, and then what was the third thing?
And what exercises?
What exercises? All right, I'll go over that next. So a kettlebell, a band, and a bench. So we want to make it as efficient as possible. Hopefully we can get you training 3 or 4 days a week. If you're at home, it should take you about 40 to 50 minutes at most. You want a little bit of a warm up, so take away the bench and we're going to buy a foam roller instead.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do. Foam roller, band, and a kettlebell. So the first thing that we're going to do is foam roll. That's number 1. Foam roll and stretch. We're going to take about 10 minutes to do that. That's something that everybody should do because of our jobs and how we work and how we live. It's hard on our bodies. And even if you don't do anything as far as exercise goes, really sitting around and doing nothing, or I don't want to even say doing nothing, sitting at your job is worse on your body than exercise is because you exercise for an hour, you sit for 8. So sitting is worse than exercise is. So you need to mobilize and you need to stretch and you need to foam roll. The next thing that we're going to do is make sure that we're doing a full body workout. And we're going to break it up into basic human movements. Push, pull, hinge, squat, carry, and then everything else. So if you have a kettlebell and you have a band, you can cover all of those things. Push, you can do push-ups, you can do kettlebell presses. We took our bench away, so I guess you can't do that. So push-ups and kettlebell presses are going to be our options. Oh, band. You can do band curl and press. You can do band presses. You can do squat and press. So you have options there. Pull. You can do band rows with your bands, bent over band rows. You can do kettlebell rows with your kettlebell. All right, so those are your basic options for your pull. Hinge, you're talking swings with your kettlebell or deadlifts with your kettlebell if you can't swing yet. Hip bridges with your kettlebell and single leg deadlifts with your kettlebell. All right, so you have options there. Squats, goblet squats, body squats if you can't goblet squat yet, goblet squats, and then any type of unilateral option. So split squat, rear foot elevated squat, single leg squat, pistol squat. So you have all those options there as far as squats go. Carry, if you have one kettlebell, you can either suitcase carry or you can waiter carry. Those are your two options. If it's a heavy kettlebell, suitcase carry is your only option because waiter carry is going to be hard to do with a heavy kettlebell. If it's light, then you can do both. But it's going to be a little light for your suitcase. So, and then everything else is groundwork and planks and core work and things like that. So crawling, Travis's favorite exercise, bird dogs, dead bugs, and things along those lines. So one push exercise, one pull exercise, one hinge, one squat, one carry, and one of everything else. Everything else being groundwork and core work. You do 3 sets of that, and you're good to go. If you're doing that 3 days a week, that's an awesome training routine right there. I mean, you're covering literally all of your bases.
Good answer. I like that.
If there was one thing that I would take out of anybody's diet, it would not be a food. I would say only drink water and don't drink anything else. Because the majority of us, the vast majority of us, drink more other things than water. And even if you're drinking 0-calorie things, and I don't even know if we've gone over this yet, but we will go over artificial sweeteners at some point. So even if you're drinking 0-calorie things, those things process the same way in your body, and correct me if I'm wrong, they process the same way in your body as sugar will. Your mind thinks the same thing. Your mind reacts to sugar as if it's crack. Right? So your mind reacts literally the same to artificial sweeteners as it does to sugar. It still wants it, and then it's still going to release insulin. I mean, it's still going to do the same stuff. So,
and it drives your craving for sugar even higher.
Yes. So even if you're drinking 0-calorie drinks, it's not
vitamin water and all of
your
those.
body's not utilizing it. It's just not, you're not getting the benefit out of it. So if there's one thing, I would start, that's where I would start.
Okay.
I would start, take everything, every drink out that you have and just drink water.
Good. Okay. That covers it. Okay, question number 2.
I thought that covers that's all the questions.
Oh no, we have plenty of questions.
That's easy.
So number 2 is a general question.
General.
Okay. So split versus full body routines. Which are better?
It depends. Man, this is a loaded question. So it depends on how many days a week you're training.
Okay.
And that's all.
Okay.
Outside of that, I don't care what your goals are. I don't care unless your goal is just to have a really big chest and you don't care about anything else, then all you're going to do is bench press. But even if you're a person that is trying to put muscle on, if you can only train 3 days a week, a split routine like chest and back and then legs and arms and then shoulders and whatever else is left on the third day is not going to be efficient. What'd you say?
Abs.
Abs, yes. Shoulders and abs. It's just not going to be efficient. Does it make sense to train a muscle 1 day a week if you're trying to grow it? So if you're training 4 days a week, does it make sense to train a muscle group 4 days a week? Now, if you're training 6 days a week, then you're going to have to split it up somehow. But I'm going to tell you, if you're training 6 days a week, you're training too much. So it depends on your goal, and even still, it's not going to be a split routine in the normal sense of, in my mind, a split routine is chest 1 day, back 1 day, legs 1 day, shoulders 1 day, arms 1 day. Basically, what you're doing is killing the muscle group 1 day and then giving it 7 days of rest. When in reality, it's not getting 7 days of rest because it's going to get work doing other things. So why not break those exercises up? If you're training 4 days a week, do a muscle group twice a week. Do it hard on Monday and do it hard again on Thursday. Just don't tear it down completely. It doesn't make sense if you're trying to grow a muscle. Why would you train it 1 day a week? So I think you get stuck in that split routine, like muscle group routine, because that's just how bodybuilders have done it. Like that's how when Arnold came over from Australia back in the day, Austria, sorry, not Australia, Austria.
Thank God he did.
Right. When Arnold came over from Austria back in the day, that's how he did. That's how he, that's how people saw that he worked out. When in reality, he really didn't even do that. He actually trained his full body every day, but he would train it in the morning, then train it at night. But he was also on steroids, so he could replace his body would repair itself a lot quicker. So people have just done that because that's just how things have been done. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean it's the best way to do it.
Right.
So.
Okay. All right. Good. I like it.
Good question.
Okay.
You're going to give me a lot of trouble, I think, with that one, but that's all right.
Well, our next question.
I've been in that group, so that's right.
Why I was going to say.
I'm.
Isn't that where you
totally
started?
a hypocrite. Yeah, I'm 100% a hypocrite when I say those things, but.
Right. Well, you've just learned.
Yeah.
Which we all do, and that's a good thing. So our next question is from another client here at Thrive Fitness, Kevin, and he wants to know why are lower body exercises so important. And Denise, one of our other clients, wants to add into that and wants to know, are there any benefits to Arnold presses and bicep curls?
That doesn't have anything to do with lower body exercise. That's not adding on to anything. Oh, goodness. All right. Let me hit the lower body exercises first, and then I'll get to Denise. Kevin and Denise, thank you for the questions. And Jerry and you asked the second question?
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the questions as well so far. So, Kev, lower body exercises. This is a pretty easy one in my mind, but I'll try and expound on it a little bit. You walk around on your legs.
Every day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I wish I could walk around on my arms because that would be really cool. And I would
be cool.
I finally have the coconuts.
You'd have dirty hands and you couldn't pick your nose as much, but at least you have to wash them before you did. But Dad says a lot of things.
Ooh.
But one thing that Dad says that I 100% agree with is once I see someone walking on their hands, then I'll start worrying more about how much upper body work I'm doing. Until that point happens, then you better be doing legs all the time. And I don't care, even if you're just worrying about growing your upper body, from a functional living life, being able to move when you're 80 years old perspective, it's something that you need to do.
Well, and I think it's crucial as we age that we maintain our strength in our quads because that helps to prevent you from falling.
Yeah.
And fracturing a hip and
that's an awesome point. If you look at anybody over the age of if you look at most people over the age of I'll say at this point 35 years old. I'm going to go a lot younger than what you think. Okay. At this point 35 years old, the majority of them, if you look at their backside, most importantly, they go straight down, right? Mm-hmm. They go straight down because they have no butt. Your butt and your hips are the fountain of youth. Mm-hmm. They are the fountain of youth. And if you're not doing leg exercises, then your butt and your hips are getting zero work, and therefore, eventually you're going to have back issues, you're going to have hip issues, knee issues, and all these other things that are going to develop over time because your muscles aren't able to function correctly. So you're just not utilizing them. Mm-hmm. Your butt is absolutely the fountain of youth. If you have no butt, start working on it, and I guarantee if you have back pain, most of your back pain will start going away. Okay. The Arnold presses, Is there any? What was the question?
Benefit
in Arnold presses and bicep curls. Mm-hmm. Is there a benefit?
Because you sure see a lot of that out in your regular gym.
You do see a lot of it. You do, absolutely. I would say number one that most people. So, is there a benefit? Is there a benefit? I would say yes, there is a benefit. there's a benefit to every exercise that there is. Every single exercise, I don't care what it is, little leg like kickbacks, tricep kickbacks, there's always a benefit. What you have to look at is bang for your buck. So what within the amount of time that you have to exercise, what can you put in to actually achieve what you want to achieve? If you want to get bigger arms, then bicep curls might be the best thing to do. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I'd say doing chin-ups or inverted rows and maybe supplementing that with some bicep curls, yeah. But if you want to get bigger arms, bicep curls might be a good option. If you want to be a functioning human, I wouldn't say that it's really that necessary of an option unless you have 3 hours a day to work out. Then you can start throwing things in. But if you are trying to be efficient and effective, you have to look at your options. You have to say, all right, this is what I have to do. This is what I want to accomplish. What's the best thing I can put in to do that? As far as the Arnold presses go, I can tell you, and it's funny because Sharon and I were kind of talking about this a little bit. Whenever I pick an exercise for clients, I always look at it from a risk to benefit ratio. How much risk is involved in them getting hurt to the benefit that they're going to get out of it? And what other aspects are there in there to take into consideration? And I've always gone too far, and I admit this, I've always gone too far on looking at the risk and what's the risk, and then taking things away because of the possible risk.
Yes.
So, there's definitely more that Arnold presses can do for you on a regular, everyday basis than bicep curls, in my opinion. That's something that you could put in and actually get more functional use out of than a bicep curl if you're trying to be efficient and effective. But if I'm looking at it from a risk to benefit ratio, some of the shoulder presses that we do, which is, I mean, Arnold press is just a variation of a shoulder press. Some of the shoulder presses that we do offer more bang for your buck than an Arnold press does at this point. And that'll change. So,
okay, that's good.
that makes sense?
Yeah. I think some of the presses that we do it involves your whole body. I mean, your core
Right.
and all of that. So,
Right.
I think that, I see it's a good point.
And because of how we function and how we move on a regular everyday basis, sitting, you can't just go in and do a bunch of shoulder presses. Like you just can't do that because most people can't extend their arm over their head without jamming their shoulder into the socket and having
Right.
pain. So you have to look at what are the things that you can do, what are the shoulder press variations that you can do in order to maybe eliminate some of the possibility of hurting that. And with Arnold press or military press or just regular dumbbell shoulder press in general, you tend to use more weight, and that's when you start having issues because then you start trying to really jam that shoulder and have other things go on, which you don't really want.
Okay. We got time for one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
One more. All right. Which one do I pick? Let's talk about, what do you think about fat burning supplements and pre-workout drinks? Any benefit?
Is this from you? No? Who's
No,
from?
it's just people ask that all the time.
Yeah.
And remember, I was a big proponent
You
of
were.
those when I first started.
So, fat burning supplements and pre-workout drinks. I started to do a Thrive TV episode on this yesterday, but I just couldn't get through it for some reason. So, I'll get into that next week a little more in depth.
Okay. Well, you can cover it then. We can go on to another question if you want, if you're going to cover
No.
it in a segment.
No. I'll go over it because it's a good question, and a lot of people do have questions about those things. So when it comes to supplements, and so this is the number one caveat I always throw out whenever you're talking about supplements is, unless your nutrition is on point, supplements don't mean anything. I don't care what supplement it is. I don't care what it promises you. I don't care what it tells you. I
It's
don't
not gonna
care.
work.
I don't care if it's Herbalife or if it's it works or
Jack,
whatever. I don't.
whatever.
It really doesn't. And I'm not saying that those are bad options because they certainly have great options. If your nutrition is junk, it doesn't matter. You're going to get very short-term results, and then they're going to stop, and then you're going to give up. And it's a vicious feedback loop whenever you jump into that. So before I even say, oh, it's okay to do this or not okay to do this, or you can do this instead, if your nutrition is not on point, the rest of it doesn't matter. It just doesn't. Mm-hmm. With that said, in my opinion, pre-workout drinks and fat burners, 99.9% of them, you might as well just ignore. Here's the thing. If you pull that out and you look at the ingredient list on that, you tell me how many of the ingredients you can actually pronounce. If you can pronounce more than 3 of the ingredients on the back of that list, then go ahead. That's fine. Take it. Whenever you pull the ingredients out, or you look on the back of a fat burner of a pre-workout drink, there's a list of 20 ingredients, and you can't pronounce 19 of them. If that's how it is, I don't trust what's in there, and I'm not going to put that into my body. I've been into the whole pre-workout thing. I've tried a couple fat burners, not a whole bunch of them, but if it's something that's making my nervous system so jacked up that it's making me feel jittery and making my hands burn, I don't trust it.
Oh yeah.
And if you actually need a pre-workout drink, or if you actually need a fat burner, then that just tells me that your nutrition and your sleep and all these other things are just not right. I understand that work takes a while and takes gets you tired, but you just should not be that exhausted at the end of a work day if you're working out after work that you need a pre-workout drink if your nutrition is on point. And if your nutrition is on point, you should not need a fat burner. Like, nutrition should just get you to where you want to go. Mm-hmm. So the only thing the fat burner is doing is hoping that you're going to get some results out of it because you don't feel like putting in the time to do your nutrition. Mm-hmm. It takes time. To do these things, it takes time. Mm-hmm. It just does. It takes time. So that doesn't mean I don't believe in supplements. There are supplements that I believe in that I believe are effective. Mm-hmm. But with pre-workout drinks and fat burners, if you want, for both of them, I'll tell you what, for both of them, drink coffee.
I was going to say.
Both of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, pre-workout and fat burner. Mm-hmm. Drink coffee. Not lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee, but yeah. 30 minutes before you train, just have a little thing of coffee.
A cup or two of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I can vouch for that. I do that periodically. Mm-hmm. And, you can see benefit to that.
So.
All right, one more.
Okay.
Why do I have to do bird dogs? I just want to know.
I'm glad you asked this question, actually, because I started reading Dan John's 3rd, 4th, 5th book. Which one is it? Can You Go? Again last night. This is my 2nd time around. And so his recommendation for athletes, whenever they get off the plane, because athletes travel a lot and they sit a lot, and athletes are huge people, so if you're in a plane, you're a normal person, and you sit in a plane, it's not very uncomfortable. Imagine an athlete that's 6'5" and 280 pounds sitting in a plane. But since most of us sit, so this relates to everybody, his recommendation for when you get out of a plane is, number 1, stretch your hip flexors. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I don't remember. And then number 3, do bird dogs.
There in the airport?
You can do them wherever. In the plane aisle, in the airport.
People be looking at you funny.
That's fine. So, a bird dog, exercises shouldn't only be picked because they're hard, or because they're difficult, or because it's an advancement, or anything along those lines. Like, sometimes you do an exercise because it realigns you. Because your body has to say, okay, I've sat all day, and I don't understand how to stabilize right this second, so can you throw something at me to give it to me? Mm-hmm. And say, like, this is how you stabilize. And it's just something very simple like a bird dog or crawling or rolling and all these things that you look at and you think, why am I rolling around on the ground? Or why am I doing this bird dog thing or this dead bug thing? Like, those things are there just to reintroduce your body to stability from after you sat all day. Mm-hmm. And yes, they can be, like, bird dogs are easy for me, but
they're working, I guess, in some capacity.
You just have to, it's just one of those exercises that you can make it a little harder, but all you're doing is, again, teaching your body to stabilize. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a great question. And I kid with Trevis because she gives me such a hard time about them. But a lot of people have concerns about, like, why am I not sweating? Or why is my heart rate not? Mm-hmm. And why am I not sweating hard enough? And why is this workout not hard? Why is that workout not hard? And this one was easy, and that one was.
Yeah.
And you get caught up in that vicious cycle of, like, everything has to be hard, right. Everything has to be intense, and I have to sweat every.
Kill yourself
you
every
should
time
sweat.
you're
And don't get me wrong, you should sweat every time you get to the gym, but you don't have to be crawling out of the gym every time. And if you can understand that and you can appreciate the small things for what they are, then you can continue to move down the path of, like, regenerating your body and, again, functioning when you're 80
right, and being able to continue to work out years down the road.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That
was good. Good. Thank you.
Nice job.
Great.
Thanks for getting all that together.
You're welcome.
So I think this is something that we should do on a somewhat regular basis. Mm-hmm. Although I'd still like to get you in the hot seat. You're a little less able to go off the cuff like me. Not that I'm great at it, but
yeah,
I'd like to see how good you do. I think you'd surprise yourself because you were bantering with me a little bit, mm-hmm. going back and forth. Mm-hmm. So here's what we'll do. If you guys have any questions at all about fitness, nutrition, general health, like mental health, whatever it is. Sleep, yes. Just being able to get yourself down the path. Email Trevis. Yes.
Okay, email Trevis.
Well, no. That's a good idea. Let's do... What were you going to say?
Just give my email address.
Email address? Mm-hmm. So we'll give you two options.
Okay.
You can email Trevis at treves@thriveforstrength.com. Or if you have a Twitter account, go to at the Thrive Pack and ask your question there. #ThriveTV.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we're done.
Have a good day.
Oh, have a good day.
You have to clap again.
Oh. Good job.